Okay, so you click this video and I'm going to get right to the point. If you're new to the game, you're going to want to pick Warrior, Ranger, or Necromancer. The light armored Necromancer hits stuff like... The medium armored Ranger hits stuff like... And the heavy armored Warrior hits stuff like... That should honestly help you determine which class you should start playing with, because GuildWars is a very tactile game. It's more akin to a hack-and-slash platformer than an MMORPG. And if you're still deciding, then I guess we'll just go ahead and start an actual video talking about each of the classes. Video intros are a waste of time. People should stop doing them and give you the info you're after. Just stop. So you just started Guild Wars 2 for the very first time. You've come to the race selection screen. You have a big cat person, a human person, another human-looking person, which doesn't really communicate very well. They're a giant that can transform into animals, cute little goblin thing, and a plant person. So you pick one and you decide to go with a female because you know they have the best hair options, and then you arrive at this screen. What is even going on? There's like 9 things with symbols and brief descriptions, but like, how? How can you possibly know which one to play? Each one of them has its own confusing rules and weapon combinations with damage types, so you're probably going to pick Elementalist because, hey, it's a wizard, right? You do the tutorial, you go out in the world, and... So yeah, let's go over these 9 stupid things so you can figure out exactly which one you really want to use. I mean, it is the 3 leftmost ones, we kind of already touched on that, but let's start from the top. The top 3 classes are soldiers who use heavy armor, which means their armor is made from harvested metal, so it's fairly easy to get. You just go to these stupid mine nodes, you hit them with an axe, and there you go. On the left is the easiest one to play, the warrior. Next is a slightly more difficult class, the guardian, who despite having a ton of healing options, actually has really low health. And you probably don't have a revenant unlocked because it requires the expansion pack, but it's the weirdest of the 3 to play, and what I like to call a jack-of-all-trades class that can flexibly excel in any role and change your role in mid-combat, such as being a healer, being a damage dealer. They're very flexible, but they're not really excelling in any particular thing, except for bar breaking, which is a bit complicated, and we don't really need to get into that, but just know that if there's a blue thing, like a shield, they can break right through it. The middle 3 classes are called adventurers, and they wear medium armor. Their leather armor requires farmed leather from animals, so it's the most expensive because nobody wants to actually take the time to run around killing defenseless deer all day. The class on the left is the ranger, which is the easiest one to play. Next is a slightly more difficult class, the thief, who requires a lot of planning, finesse, and they use their own kind of limited energy called initiative to do attacks, rather than have skill cooldowns, which is kind of neat but requires planning and practice to figure out. Then lastly you have the engineer, which is another complicated jack-of-all-trades type character who uses abilities to get temporary weapons called toolkits rather than real weapons on their own. I mean, they can use rifles and like handguns and shields. They have deployable turrets, and honestly their bomb and grenade kits are where their real power lies. Finally, we have the bottom 3 classes, which are the scholars, and the leftmost one is the necromancer, and it might be the easiest class to play in the entire freaking game. Next is the elementalist, which is a jack-of-all-trades class, which can deal damage, apply healing, increase defense, and add useful boons to the party, and they're probably the most complicated class in the entire game to figure out properly. Lastly, we have the Mesmer, which, oh boy, let me tell you about the Mesmer. I want to make this completely clear. I do not advocate playing Mesmer for a first-time player unless you are just really good at, like, understanding the idea that your camera-facing direction is just going to whip all over the place. Like, you're going to be turned one way, and then you're going to be turned another way. You are going to be able to open portals to help allies out to move them to locations that are hard to get to. You're going to be extremely helpful and in all sorts of ways with just that alone. But then on top of this, you also can create clones of yourself. You basically sit back, relax, and let them do the work while you wail on the enemy with like either a great sword which fires laser beams, or you use axes which like spin all over the place and do loads of damage and apply tons of conditions. It's an interesting class. I haven't really dedicated this much time to talk about any of the classes, so I guess the real reason why I'm doing this is because it's just so darned weird and how many different ways you can take it. And I've seen a lot of people take the Mesmer and just go like pure power with it, and that's okay. But I'm personally a fan of like going a mixture of power and condition damage, which by the way, those are 2 damage types in the game. Condition damage is like damage over time. Power is like straight up front strength. So I use stuff like Viper's gear, which you have to craft, which allows you to do both simultaneously, and I highly recommend trying that out as soon as you can. You will have to master crafting light armor to be able to get it, and it's a pain, but oh man, the reward of playing this class, it's very fun. It's actually, I wouldn't say it's my #1 favorite, but you know, if I'm leading a large group of people and I need to make sure they can all get from point A to point B, this is the class I pick. And so if you're a helpful person, pick Mesmer. But seriously though, if this is your first time playing, for the love of everything, warrior, ranger, or necromancer, you're not gonna be let down. You're gonna have a good time. All right, that's the video. Thanks for watching. You know, I just want to say, I want to say huge thanks to everybody out there who's been watching my necromancer build video that I did, the unkillable necromancer. That thing has been getting way more views than I would have ever imagined. Like, it is just blowing up. There's like 25,000 views on it right now as of the time of writing this script. I don't know why it's popular, other than that it is probably an unkillable build, in my opinion. It's great. I did figure it out entirely on my own, just, you know, trying stuff out on the Necro until I was like, yeah, this feels comfortable. So, you know, if you ever are interested in other builds that I've done that are like that, you check them out, and I'll continue posting stuff. Feel free to ask me anything down in the comments. I am here to answer your questions. This is not a closed-off video and then that's the end of the work. No, the work is going to be happening down there in the comment section now, because people are going to be asking questions, and I'm here to answer them, and I will be incredibly responsive to everything you ask. Just go ahead and lay them on me. Lay those questions on me down there in the comments, all right? We're just going to have a nice discussion about classes, figuring out builds, having a good time. I'll be linking to videos if I have a build video available. Otherwise, I'll just be, you know, linking to, like, build editor. And, yeah, let's carry on a conversation down there. Thanks. Oh, and if I'm ever in game, which is actually a lot recently, you can just go ahead and message me in there, too. Yeah.